Hi Taurus, welcome to your reading for December 2019. So as you can see, we are doing your reading outside today. Don't worry, I'm going to make sure to talk loudly enough so that you guys can hear, and also make sure to show you the cards. I just thought it would be fun since it's really nice weather where I am here in California, and I want to give you guys a little taste of that, especially because I'm sure many of you are already experiencing winter. So before we get started, Taurus, I just want to let you know, the way I do readings is a little bit different from a lot of tarot you might have seen on YouTube. Four of Swords, okay. A period of rest and recuperation after a battle. So we'll keep that in mind. But the way I do readings is more about empowering you to make choices that will manifest your highest good. I'm a big believer in co-creating with the universe. And so there definitely is an element, I'm going to bring this closer just while I'm shuffling, but then I'll show you the cards. There definitely is an element to my readings of predicting what's going to happen, but it's much more based on what you do with the insight that I give you here in this reading. If you end up feeling that this reading resonates with your situation, it may not. You may want to check out your moon or rising sign. So Taurus, that's kind of the idea here, and the idea is to give you advice so that you feel empowered to create the outcome that you want. And then we'll take a look at what that outcome is. All right. All right, so I'm just going to do yours one by one, kind of section by section. So we're starting out with your path and your obstacle. And I love doing it this way because it's very self-empowering. So your path is the main energy that you're going to be experiencing this month. It's what you want to manifest. It's what you want to experience. It's literally the path that you're on. Your obstacle is the main thing that could be getting in the way of that path. And I don't want you to think that that is something that is going to mess up your flow that you can't control. The way I read is that it's more something within you that if you want to have your best outcome in your path, you want to resolve whatever this obstacle is. So let's take a look, Taurus. All right. Fascinating. Okay. So for your path, you have karma. So this is a really interesting month for you, Taurus, in December. It seems like a lot of things are coming back around for you. You may be getting some closure on things that you have been waiting to get closure on for a long time. There could be some relationships ending, and not in a, petty, let me just cut this person off way, but in a way where you really feel like this cycle is just over. It's time to finish whatever this is. This could also be work, right? You could have something in that nature coming to an end, or you could have something sort of coming back around from the past that you haven't been expecting to come back around. So that's pretty broad, Taurus, but I do readings that way because since I'm more focused on giving you guidance for how to manifest your best outcome, it doesn't really need to be specific. It needs to just speak more to what's the energy that's going on for you. So if you relate to any of what we just said here with karma, keep listening. Your biggest obstacle is Ace of Swords. Ace of Swords is all about clarity and communication. So in conjunction with the Karma card, Taurus, I feel like you've been waiting for something to come to a just conclusion. For something to either end, a relationship to either end or resolve or improve in some way. And you're going to get that this month. But I think what you're not realizing, Taurus, is that you have a role to play in this. you have to also, if you want this to happen, you have to decide to stop engaging in this pattern. You have to stop people pleasing or doing something you don't believe in at work or whatever it might be, or feeding into any kind of pattern that isn't resonating with you anymore. It's up to you to make that decision so that the universe can then meet you there with that karma. This could also be something that you need to communicate to somebody. So if you're resonating with that, if you feel like you've had something that you want to say to someone but you've been holding it back, then that could be what this is referring to as well. All right, so let's get some more clarity on what's been going on in your recent past. All right, Taurus. Okay, this makes sense. So you have had a heartbreak in your recent past. For many of you, this could be a relationship ending. I'm definitely getting that sense. But it could be a lot of things. It could be kind of realizing that you and someone or multiple people in your life are kind of on different paths. You could be sort of moving on in a way that is kind of separating you from the way you used to do things. And that does have you feeling confident and empowered, Taurus. There's definitely a feeling of being really happy to be single, whether that's literally or metaphorically. You are really finding yourself on your own, and this is something you've already been doing because this is in your recent past. You're really finding yourself, you're becoming more confident in your ability to make decisions, and I think you've been wondering, is that going to create some kind of resolution in whatever this situation was? Is this going to come back around in some kind of way that feels like closure? And I think your answer is yes, Taurus, but you also have to realize that you can't wait for circumstances to make you happy, or you can't wait for people to allow you to be true to yourself. You have to just decide to do that and then see what they do, see what happens. And I think you could be pleasantly surprised at the result. You could be reconnecting with somebody, maybe the cause of that kind of broken heart energy, or you could be coming to some kind of understanding with someone that maybe you aren't really moving forward together in the way that you had once thought you would, but there's friendship there and there's respect and understanding. This could all also be applying to work, right? You could be sort of feeling like you were undervalued at work. Perhaps that was the brokenhearted energy, and really having to get strong in yourself and in advocating for yourself, and then kind of seeing yourself be respected a little more. So that's a possibility too. All right, Taurus. So next, what I want to look at for you is 2 cards of advice. And that's what I always do to kind of help empower you to feel like you can create your reality. You can create your outcome, which we're going to predict in a few minutes. But first, I just want to get more of a sense of what is going on in your head, in your mind, in these patterns that you've been living in. And I apologize if there's a lot of background noise. I know there are cars. I thought it would be just kind of a fun thing to be outside. I hope you can hear me. I'll check that after I film this, I guess. Yep. Okay. For sure, Taurus. So for some of you, this could have to do with work or money. You could be finding some sort of justice or resolution in some kind of work situation that's been plaguing you for a while. And something that you've realized you've had to gracefully sort of let go of. It's like when you're bargaining and you can only really be good at striking a bargain if you're willing to walk away. I 100% get that feeling for you, Taurus. And there's this feeling of, you know, that in order to be recognized for what you're worth, you kind of need to be able to have those boundaries. It's not playing with people just to play with them, just to say, oh, I can walk away if I want. It's not that at all. It's just simply an exercise in boundaries and in knowing your value. And what happens when you do that is it looks like your value is recognized, Taurus. I'm seeing a real shift in money for some of you. I think for those of you who feel like this is about work, your value is being recognized. You might be getting a raise. It's a very straightforward message, but that's kind of the simple sense that I'm getting. If this is more about other areas of your life, I feel like it's the same message, Taurus, but there's just this sense that you're kind of getting this new sense of value in your life and in your relationships due to being more independent within yourself, due to not being so codependent on other people that they have the ability to break your heart. And obviously, you know, we can all be heartbroken, but and that's not codependent in and of itself, but you're becoming more of your own person. And that is really, people are seeing that, and that's being reflected to you, whether that's money or friendships, relationships, whatever that might be. All right, now we're going to look at some advice cards for you, Taurus. And your advice cards are somewhat contradictory, but I think it's really cool because it definitely speaks to the energy you have going on right now. Four of Wands. Celebration, union, commitments, often signifies marriage, coming together. Seven of Cups. Options, possibilities, visioning, having a vision for your future, thinking about what you want, being excited, but also maybe not being quite sure. So again, we kind of have this like single person energy who suddenly has all these options. And there's this dichotomy of make a commitment, but also keep your options open. And so what I'm feeling for you, Taurus, is there's going to be a lot of energy moving for you this month. There's going to be people interested in you. There's going to be work opportunities that are coming up for you as this karma has kind of resolved. So this could be, you know, the same workplace or the same relationship now coming back around to improve and be better than it was before. Or it could be something completely new. And so I think the advice for you, Taurus, is to enjoy this time in your life. Celebrate yourself. Don't be too hasty with your choices. I think that's the main message here because you just kind of got out of a broken-hearted situation. Allow yourself to have options and weigh options. But also, don't be afraid to make a commitment based on what feels right, based on what your heart tells you. Because you do have this karma energy as your main path, Taurus. So I think, you know, things are coming back around and you may be getting some kind of offer, whether that's creative, work, relationship, that is appealing to you. And so the message is to not kind of lose the newfound independence that you've discovered, and to be gentle with yourself because you have felt brokenhearted in the recent past. But also to take advantage of this time, for sure. And to remember to enjoy it. if and when that does happen, that commitment does come your way. Don't bring the serious energy, like you found yourself enough where you don't have to worry about being brokenhearted in the same way anymore. So you really can enjoy it. Finally, Taurus, let's look at the future that this advice is manifesting for you. Oh, beautiful. Okay, Taurus, this is interesting. So, you have 2 cards here, which again seem to kind of contradict. First, you have Ace of Cups, a beautiful, emotional new beginning, feeling really fulfilled within yourself. Then you have 5 of Pentacles, which is kind of this energy of poverty. And don't go freaking out because it does not have to be financial at all. It's simply a feeling of losing something or feeling lacking in some way. So having these 2 cards for you together, Taurus, is really interesting, and it's giving me 2 different messages here. And so whichever one resonates with you, you can go with that. But I also want to remind you that you do create your reality, Taurus. And so these are simply outcomes based on this advice, following your heart and following this advice. And I believe that they are the best outcomes for you at this time in your life, in this month of December. Doesn't mean that this is how it's going to be forever, but I do feel that this is your best place for you to be right now. And the main message I'm getting is that for many of you, this karma is going to be more of an ending. It's going to be more so closure with that person who you had this broken-hearted energy around. And I think for a lot of you, you are going to end this month kind of solo. And that is what this is referring to. Physically, on a physical level, it seems like you've lost something. But emotionally, you are fulfilled. Emotionally, Taurus, you're in a better place than you've been in a long time. And so whether this is work contracts or creative contracts, if you're an artist or whatever it might be, I think a lot of you, after weighing these options, are going to end up kind of walking away from these commitments and kind of deciding to go solo and do whatever it is that you're wanting to do independently. That is the main message that I'm seeing for you this month, Taurus. Now, there's another option here, and that option is that it could be that your work situation is still unresolved, but a relationship situation is very fulfilled for you and has really come back around in the way that you wanted it to. That's kind of the other possibility that I see. But your main energy, Taurus, is a really cool energy of creating your own karma and seeing situations and people and things in your life and even your money itself start to kind of respect you more and show up for you more because of the clarity that you're having within yourself and the boundaries that you're setting. And so, yeah, we had that last card that looked kind of negative, but you also had the Ace of Pentacles, right? So there's money coming in. So I think that's much more of an emotional, or much more, not even emotional, much more just saying on a physical level, you may be ending up sort of on your own, but you're going to end up feeling really positive about that and feeling like you're really supported, even financially, and like you have a lot to move forward with. I hope you can hear this, Taurus. I know there's cars. So I hope you guys really enjoyed this reading. I'm trying to talk louder now. If you would like a personal reading with me, I'll leave the link to purchase one of those below. I have a couple different options, and they're both quite affordable. So I hope you guys had a great month, Taurus. Happy New Year coming up, right? And I'll talk to you guys soon.